exploits of pure ignorance. If administration continues to ignore us, all we have is each other. Community is the strongest way to take care of each other. Yeah! Do better to take care of our community, and we need to do better to survivors and hold abusers accountable. It is administration's job to regulate the school community as well. It is administration's job to provide us a safe place to education. Access to education is under Article 26 in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Survivors' access to education is when their abusers have zero accountability and face zero repercussions for their actions. I have known people who have missed consecutive days of school because they were afraid to see their abuser at school. I have known people who have completely dropped or changed classes required for the graduation because their abuser was also in their class. When administration overlooks survivors' needs, it greatly impacts their education. It impacts attendance, grades, social life, emotional well-being. It impacts their ability to heal from trauma. Administration continuing to not intervene with abusers is part of what causes the growing toxic student culture. School is a safe space for many people, but when abusers are not held accountable, it is no longer safe for anyone. We are calling upon the school administration to do better for survivors of sexual assault. The lack of care when it comes to sexual assault survivors is what leads to higher rates of addiction, higher rates of suicide, and continuous cycles of abuse. Our school prides itself in being progressive, yet falls short in protecting its students. Throughout junior high after school, I was always told, if you ever see, hear, or feel that something is wrong, tell someone. Well, we have told you, and you did not listen. And then in high school, we are told to remember that we are loved. We do not feel loved when we punish our support systems for protecting us. We do not feel loved when fellow students ridicule us for speaking out against abusers. We do not feel loved when we are not taken seriously. Thank you. The next person giving a speech will be Beck. You got this, homie. I don't know, but I have a letter that I'm giving. Of course. Okay.
Hello everyone, my name's Beck, and first of all, I want to thank you all for being here and supporting this cause. The Victoria School Administration has continuously neglected the needs of sexual assault victims in the school, and to simply put it, swipes their experiences under the rug. They contradict their actions with their words. The Victoria Administration is hypocritical of their statement released yesterday by the principal, Stacey Fish. It's all the way up.
Speak loud.
Okay, got this. They contradict their actions with their words. The Victoria Administration is hypocritical of their statement released yesterday by the principal, Stacey Fish. Time and time again, me and many others have spoken up to the school by going to the administration, and time again, they minimize us, and more often than not, side with the abusers. Coming up here today and publicly speaking in front of a crowd and talking about this is not within character for me, and those of you who know me can vouch for that. However, I am outraged by the treatment of sexual assault victims within this school. The school that I have attended since middle school, the school that preaches love, acceptance, and mental health, the school's mental health support, the school that I go to 5 days out of the week has failed to support me. In September, I was sexually assaulted at a party by someone I used to eat lunch with, who I considered a friend, who goes to Victoria School like me. From the start, I personally wasn't comfortable coming forward to the administration, but after a very public argument in the bathroom, which many of you have probably heard about or witnessed, I felt pressured by the school to come forward, and I did. Instead of supporting me, the administration brushed the whole thing off, suspended my support systems, some of those being illegal suspensions, and even sided with the person who assaulted me by saying that they simply couldn't control what they did because alcohol makes you do inappropriate things. They were sober.
You're minors. Why would you attend a college party anyway? Why would admin be assuming that?
That's just one of the many examples of Victoria administration failing to listen to victims.
You can do that.
It took multiple people, including myself, coming to the school multiple times for them to even look at the evidence, which they then just brushed aside. The assistant principal, in which I personally shared my evidence with, even failed to bring it to the principal. Bottom line is that Victoria administration fails to support victims, and we are all tired of it. For a long time, I missed school because I felt unsafe and vulnerable here. And when I did show up here, more often than not, I showed up in tears or showed up too tired to function. I spent hours in the bathroom throwing up, feeling extremely nauseous from being so anxious. I've considered dropping out and even considered ending it all because it just felt like a better option than being here. No matter how much or little I told the school, no matter how many weekends they knew I was out heavily drinking, partying, or using other unhealthy coping mechanisms just to feel like I had an escape from the school week, they just didn't listen. What is worse is that I know for a fact that I am just one of the many, many other Victoria students who have felt this exact same way. So Victoria School, I ask you, how can you preach about supporting our mental health when you continue to fail to support the survivors of sexual assault? How can you preach acceptance when a lot of Victoria School students don't even feel safe coming to school because you protect our abusers? We shouldn't feel unsafe coming to school. We shouldn't be scared to leave our classes to go to the bathroom. We shouldn't feel unsafe eating lunch or sitting at a table during our spare. We shouldn't feel unsafe going to our school's administration. Victoria administration needs to believe the victims before abusers. Victoria administration needs to do more to separate abusers and victims within school grounds. Victoria administration needs to actually look at any evidence provided. Victoria, oh fuck. Anyway, as I was saying, Victoria administration needs to stop shoving our stories aside. Victoria administration needs to listen to the victims being threatened before it is too late. Victoria administration needs to listen to victims regardless of gender. Victoria administration needs to hear our voices. I wanted to come up here today and share my experience to bring awareness to this issue that has been at the school for many years, and to hopefully help open this administration's eyes to the wrongdoings they have done to us. Thank you for listening.
You're so brave! You're all so brave!
I was in 5th grade. I was sexually assaulted by the bus driver did nothing. The kids around me. Oh, sorry. When I was in 5th grade, I was sexually assaulted on the bus. The bus driver did nothing. The kids around me made fun of me as they saw it happen. School did nothing. To get into trauma therapy, I had to give a police report. I had to relive an experience I've been trying to heal from for 4 years. And I was told that what happened to me wasn't worth pursuing. When I was in junior high, I was assaulted and harassed repeatedly around teachers and students, and nobody did anything. Nobody stood up for me. I never told a teacher or an adult that I was something that what happened to me didn't matter, that I was exaggerating, and that it wasn't that bad. The worst part was re-traumatizing myself every day, having to take the bus every day after what happened, having to go to school every day after what happened. The people that hurt me never got any repercussions for what they had done to me. They were protected and excused by a system that had claimed to stand with victims. And I know I'm not the only person who's had to go through this, how this sexual assault treated like it wasn't treated. wasn't traumatic. I'm not the only person that's watched users defended by schools, by adults, by people around us. I'm so sick of watching the same experience happen to people around me. I'm so sick of watching the complaints of schools and how they ignore or teach sexual assault. The experiences I went through in school and the way I was treated still affects me. Affects the way I see myself and the way I talk to it. Alright, that's it.
Go
I don't have a speech prepared, but I have points that I'm going to go over. Very often, Vic and many other schools front that they care about Indigenous students and our problems. We are spoon-fed handfuls of money and painted a pretty picture when none of the real issues that we go through are dealt with. Students are assaulted not only during school hours, but after, during the summers. A lot of times, Indigenous students and many other students are left with unhealthy coping mechanisms and unfortunate situations and dangerous events in their lives. A lot of Indigenous students struggle with homelessness, and with homelessness comes a risky lifestyle and the things that happen in those risky lifestyles. Vic very often fronts that Indigenous students are their top priority. We are given things like Indigenous grads and other events where it seems like we are taken care of. But when it comes to our actual supports, there are none. We don't have Indigenous counselors that know how to deal with Indigenous issues and intergenerational trauma. We have one Indigenous teacher that is responsible for all the Indigenous classes, that is the Cree classes, the Indigenous studies classes, 10s, 20s, and 30s. The one Indigenous support we have barely has enough time to deal with our issues because they are slammed with work, front to back. And when they do have spare time, it is very, very, very rarely. I'm sure all of you know how difficult it is to book time with a counselor to even talk about anything. Counselors are all booked until at least mid-December right now. And when we do talk to counselors, they do not know how to keep things to themselves. Big counselors have no problem calling our parents, emailing administration, and assuming that they know what is best for us without asking what is best for us. Indigenous students. There was a direct connection from Indigenous students' issues and dangerous lifestyles, leading into MMIW G2S. Missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit are, I can't remember this off the top of my head, but are way more likely than non-Indigenous peoples to go missing, get murdered, and deal with sexual assault. And are especially left with unhealthy coping mechanisms. There is not one Indigenous counselor that knows how to deal with intergenerational trauma on top of sexual assault, or how to navigate those issues. And oftentimes the school will give us counselors that don't know how to deal with those issues and just say what they think we need to hear without actually giving us any real support. And when we do find safe people and places, they are taken from us. And we are left with no options. And when we go against the school and the options that they are giving us, we are demonized and villainized. We are not bad people because we have no coping mechanisms. We are angry people.